Tonight, get a closer look at the online community of Craigslist. And a couple that frags together stays together. Find out what it's like to live with networking roomies, our very own Kevin and Dan. And get out the sandbags. It's Sarah's free download flood. Live from the Tech TV studios in San Francisco, it's the Screensavers.
Whatever it is, it's Hamburger Tuesday on the screen.
It is Hamburger Tuesday.
Patrick Newark. Can we get a shot of the hamburgers are cooking?
Hamburgers are cooking right now. I'm Kevin Rose, filling in for Mr. Leo Laporte, and this is Dan Newark cooking hamburgers for us.
Can you see it there? I believe it's a George Foreman grill. Look at that technique. Look at that, folks!
We show you all the coolest tech gadgets, including the Foreman.
Yep.
That's our latest.
We're cooking lime. We're serious.
We got some cool stuff. This is going to be an awesome show.
Yeah, but before that though, Dan, what's going on in the chat rooms? You there with you, Burger Boy?
Sorry, I'm cooking. Dan. Well, not a whole lot. It's a special day, isn't it? I got to cook. I actually don't cook at all. I don't know how to cook, so I thought I'd give it to the audience. But anyways.
Breathe.
Okay. Well, anyways, give us a call at 888-989-7879. We'll take your calls. And give me a call and give me some cooking tips. I really need it. Call me. Please. Camera off.
Sarah? What do you have planned?
I don't know. I'm afraid of Dan's burger. Dan, that's burning.
No.
Dan.
It's not burning, it's well done. There's a thin difference between a hockey burnt.
Today I'm going to provide you a download flood. It is a flood. It's not one download, not two, not even three, but 5 downloads in one. It's incredible. How long is it?
This is the second half of the show?
No, it actually happens in less than 5 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
nice.
That's challenging. Before that, we're going to start with the tech news that caught our eye today. News Factor Network reports, along with everybody else on the planet, right? Yesterday, SCO up the ante, but we've talked about SCO versus IBM.
We've been talking about this for like the last couple months now, it seems like.
It gets more and more ridiculous. The SCO and IBM is now, well, SCO's announced that they've terminated IBM's right to use and distribute its Unix-based software. Sound interesting? An amendment complaint filed yesterday. SCO also tripled the damages to at least $3 billion. Is it $3 billion or $30 billion? I got to double check that.
I don't know that for sure.
Some insanely large number, and sought a permanent injunction to prevent IBM from selling Unix, which could be a problem for IBM. While SCO had no problem with IBM using their source code in AIX, they claim IBM violated their license by using it in an open source operating system, Linux. It's basically, you know what, everybody I've talked to who isn't from SCO says that SCO's looking for a paycheck from IBM. I'm really curious to see whether or not this is ever going to get resolved. And it's going to be really interesting to see if anybody ever sees the stolen code that's inside of it.
Well, we had Chris DeBona on here like a week ago, and he's actually reviewing the code right now.
Or he was nominated to be part of the team that would review the code.
Okay, so hopefully he'll be able to shed some light on this later on when he comes back, or I don't know what the deal is.
We're kind of curious. We're kind of, it'll be interesting to see what exactly this will eventually mean to Linux, if it's ever settled, because other companies, Novell has said that SCO doesn't even have the right to have this lawsuit going. It's a mess. It's amusing, but we're curious.
Meanwhile, Linux creator Linus Torvald is actually joining an open source development lab called OSDL. Now, Linus is leaving his job at the microprocessor company Transmeta to work full-time and develop on Linux. Now, what I'm wondering is, he's leaving Transmeta. Transmeta was like his baby. And now is Transmeta going away, or what's going on there? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, meanwhile, the entire time he was working for Transmeta, he was always leading the development
of Linux,
the Linux kernel. So I don't know if things are changing that much, but it's nice that he can actually have a full-time job that allows him to develop Linux.
Right.
I think it's a good thing.
I do too, but we've never seen anything good from Transmeta yet. It seems like their low-power processors have never been quite up there with Intel's. And
it always seemed like the first one came out so late, but would have been a great processor like a year before, was kind of a mediocre processor when it hit. I've never been a big fan of their processors anyway.
Yeah, me neither. Well, we'll see.
Bart joins us on the phone from Federal Way, Washington. Bart, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on, Pat?
Chilling.
What's up, Bart?
Hey,
Waiting for the
Kev.
burgers.
What can we help you with?
He's got a question for you.
Yeah, I got a bit of a hardware problem here. My monitor, it goes from the settings that I have to really dark and smaller settings.
Dark and smaller settings. Like, does the entire picture just sort of go from whatever it is and then shrink?
It shrinks and darkens, yes.
Shrinks and darkens. And can you actually use the buttons on the front of the monitor to change the settings back up, or is it something like you have to shut the monitor off, wait 4 hours?
I can change the settings back myself.
Now, does this happen when you're changing resolutions, or is it happening just randomly?
It just happens randomly because I keep it at the same resolution.
Okay. I mean, that's really weird. Like, if your monitor was getting darker and darker, if the picture was getting smaller and smaller, and no matter what you did on the control buttons, it wouldn't change, I would say your monitor is probably well on its way to being dead, which is why I pulled up this. It's like, notes on troubleshooting and repair of computer and video monitors. It's
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
repairfaq.org. Well, here's the thing. Is like, monitors are a nightmare to fix, and whenever it actually is genuinely broken, the problem is taking it to somebody who can actually fix it usually costs significantly more than buying a new monitor that's larger and has a higher refresh rate than the monitor you already own.
Now, we're always saying never open your monitors up. Never, because, I mean, it can throw you back across the room.
It can kill you, actually.
So I should just talk to girlfriend into buying me a flat panel?
Well, if you can do
Yes.
that. Or, yeah, well, I mean,
That's what I'm talking about.
Here's a 17-inch flat panel is a 21-inch CRT. You know what I mean?
Oh, who's going for 17 inches? I'm going to get one.
Yeah, but a 19-inch flat panel is like a new car.
No, they're not. They've come down in price.
Okay, they're like $800.
Sarah's going to buy me a new monitor, hopefully. I'm looking for the same thing, Bart. I'm hoping to get myself a nice 19-inch.
I'm looking forward to seeing your pad there, too, Kev.
Hey, thanks, Bart.
Wait till you see the dark corners. Here's the thing, though, Bart. You can try to repair it. The problem is repairing monitors is, A, it's really specialized. B, it tends to be a nightmare to diagnose. C, you can kill yourself by opening up a CRT monitor. So we tell people really don't do that.
Yeah.
And the flip side is if you take it, unless it's still under warranty, if it's under warranty, take it back to where you bought it or send it back to the company after you get an RMO. But to be honest with you, if your monitor's dying, almost always you end up getting rid of it, buying a new monitor. And then you get a bigger monitor.
Yeah.
Better refresh rate.
Everyone wants a bigger monitor.
Don't we all? Don't go anywhere, folks. You know why? Because if you do, you'll miss, well, a visit to one happy hacker homestead. And after the break, meet the man that's taking Craigslist from a local online community to over 20 cities. Very, very cool. In 1995, he started a small local online community called Craigslist right here in San Francisco. It changed the way people search for everything from jobs to housing, and in the last couple of years, personal ads even, and just about everything in between, from motorcycles to PDAs. 8 years later, it's bigger than ever, expanded nationally to 22 cities.
Right now, 23.
Craig, welcome to Screensavers.
Glad to be here.
Founder of Craigslist, Craig Newark. Welcome. Well, welcome. I mean, you've been the thing that, especially here in San Francisco, is kind of like the grail. You've had a successful .com, a business. You've made money off it. You continue to make money. Never downsized. Always growing. You've expanded nationally. Is there a secret? I mean, or is it just basically keeping things small and growing as you go?
Yeah, the deal is, how do we keep things small while getting a little bigger?
Mm-hmm.
We just plug away every day. We've somehow built a culture of trust, something we try to earn again every day.
Mm-hmm.
And that means even minutes ago, grabbing a system here, doing customer service while I was waiting.
Which you're pretty intense about that. In terms of, is it frauds or scams or you can out on any ad on the system, you can ask it to be reviewed by the staff. What's going on in there that you guys do?
Well, there's a whole bunch of things operating at once. Usually, we get some objectionable posts, and people will flag them for removal. If enough people agree, they're gone. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, on the other extreme, now and then someone tries running a scam by people,
right.
In which case we do what we can about that, even if it means seeing what we could do overseas.
Really? So if somebody's from, insert name of small foreign country here is like, buy 1,000 widgets and in 2 years you'll get your $1 million back or something like that, a Ponzi scheme and all that other stuff. Do you reject those? When you say that if enough people agree, do you wait for the community to protest, or do you guys worry about it?
Usually what happens is that someone will send us a reference to a posting that sounds a little fishy. Mm-hmm. This morning, for example, I got one which turned out to be a notorious scammer operating out of Romania. I also this afternoon got contacted. What looks like the current scam operating out of Nigeria involves fake cashier's checks.
Oh man, they can get a little ugly. Do you reject those as soon as they show up now, or do you wait? Okay.
When I hear about something, I look into it. Usually, then I can look into all the things posted by this person, and I'll just remove them all.
So we've talked about we've referred to it as a smaller local community. Even in San Francisco, it's pretty huge. How many people or how many ads are posting every day on Craigslist?
Every day, it's something like I think 30,000. We're getting about 1 million per month.
Really?
That's across all our cities, and it just keeps coming. And we do what we can to keep ahead of the curve.
What's it like now? Everybody, certainly around here, we think of Craigslist. It's kind of like this, it's like an ad trader, only it actually works, and there's actually stuff I want to buy on it. And there's, it's like you said, you keep a very sort of high standard for the community. How does that work when you branch out to a city that's 1,000 miles away?
Well, basically, we just set up another city. We hope that word of mouth gets things out, and it does work. And then when it comes to quality, well, people in those other cities flag posts for removal, just like they do here, and somehow it seems to work.
Really? So you're still all administrating all of it out of the home office?
Yeah. In other words, in a different city, people run things themselves. In New York, people post things, people flag things, and when there's a serious problem, they let us know. Like apartment brokers in New York sometimes get out of line. Flagging sometimes works. Sometimes I have to call them and get them to behave themselves.
Really?
I have a call in a guy in New York right now.
Are they, when you say behaving themselves, are they getting into flame wars, or?
It's worse if you're a Manhattanite.
Yeah.
That is, brokers who charge fees will post in the no-fee categories.
Got it.
And that really, people don't like that.
It's annoying. Well, if you've never actually had to deal with New York, there's a whole sort of business in Manhattan based around finding apartment listings, usually out of the paper, and then reselling them to people and making them pay a month or 2 or 3 months of rent in advance. It's one of the frustrating things about there. I'm trying to think of how to give people a sense of it. You guys have been doing sort of the best of the ads or the ad titles lately. It's a new link over on the side of it. Or the favorites. How do you guys pick? It's like my personal favorite: "Man with nothing to offer seeks hottie, craving disappointment." Or another one would be another ad that was pretty funny was "Diamond engagement ring, never worn, only thrown once." I mean, the place has a person. That wouldn't be funny if it was you posting that ad. What kind of stuff do you guys? How do you guys picking those out? Are those your favorites? Or?
Well, usually what happens is people will nominate them because you can flag something for removal. You can also flag it for best of. Jim Buckmaster, our CEO, one of his hobbies is going through the nominations and picking them out.
Did you bring any new ones with you, or?
I did take a look at some, 2 new, 1 old. My favorite old one is someone trying to hire someone to take the CPA ethics test for him. Recently, we saw apparently someone being wheeled into an emergency room somewhere was trying really hard to flirt with one of the emergency room techs.
Really?
That made it onto the list. And,
is that one of the missed connections one?
Very
I
much
had
a
the
missed
broken
connection.
leg. You were the nurse in the emergency room.
And somehow a teacher in a grammar school somewhere in New York wrote a note of unappreciation to his kids. Apparently he got stressed out.
Really?
And if you look in best of, and if you see something about teaching you kids sucked this year, that's what I'm thinking of. So it's all very real. It's the way that we feel about a lot of things, and that's what a community is about.
Very cool. What's next for Craigslist?
In a way, more expansion. We need to add function that people want. We have to put in better protections against fraud or scams, working on that all the time.
And it's really just staying on top of it and making sure it stays the place we know and love.
That's the deal. Me, I'm hoping to find mechanisms so I can get down to a 40-hour work week.
That would be nice. Craig Newark, ladies and gentlemen. Check out Craigslist.org, see if it's running locally in your area. I highly recommend it. And to learn more about the mission of Craigslist, go to thescreensavers.com, kick the links. and learn something new. Stay put. Are you having trouble playing your favorite anime imports on your computer? I'm going to tell you how you can fix that. And up next, in lieu of the big giveaway this month, we invite you to visit Kevin and Dan's Digital Digs. Check out how they share their lovely space when the Screensavers continues. Santa Monica, California. How you doing, Davis?
Good. How about you guys?
Hey, Davis.
Hey.
Do you have a question for us?
Yeah. I actually was wondering. I got this PHP script that I found online, and I have this website which has a specific page template, I guess, that so the website looks all the same. And I was wondering if there's any way to incorporate this PHP script into the website without any problems.
Does your web server run PHP right now?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And you said you have a template. Explain to me, why aren't you just using the script by itself? Or is it a PHP template, or what is it?
Well, no, it's just like the PHP script itself is just very plain, like white background, black Arial.
You want to make the PHP script look like the rest of your website.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I want to incorporate it into my, rest of the website.
Okay, that's easy enough. Let me think about this. What you're going to do is you're going to rename your HTML file as a .html extension. Rename that to .php, and that's going to allow PHP to execute within that file. Then you're going to use what's called an include, a PHP include. And you're going to have to find out, you have to go to php.org and find out exactly what the include text is. I can find it out. It's like bracket, question mark, include, space, the name of the script.
That's a great thing to put in the show notes.
Yeah, I can put that in the show notes, exactly. And then what you want to do is just in that bracket with the question mark in the bracket, and then when you execute the page, when you reload the page to the index.php this time, it's going to start executing the code as it goes down the lines, and it's going to see that include, and it's going to embed that right inside the file. That's it.
That makes sense, Davis?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Right.
No problem.
There you have it. Good call. Folks, you know what? We got to give a congratulations to Peter from San Jose, California. He just won a Series 2 TiVo digital video recorder with a lifetime subscription, no less, as part of our Digital Dig sweepstakes. Does your home need an upgrade? Huh? Oh, yes?
Mine does.
Yes? We got anybody? Yeah. Okay, yeah! Watch Tech TV all this week for your chance to win a $100,000 tech makeover for your house with the coolest products we could find. Anything from plasma screens to internet bridges or fridges to iBows. Play today for a chance to win an Xbox and a Nintendo Game Boy. Now to play, you got to watch Tech TV anytime between 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern. You're going to look for our commercials with the Digital Dig Celebrity Clues. And once you see them, you go to techtv.com/digital digs. Nice little URL there. And take the quiz to enter. The more quizzes you take, the more chances you have to win. So watch tonight and enter and try to win some cool toys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of Digital Digs, we went to my house.
Scary.
And Sarah's here. She's actually the one that went into my room. Been there a few times.
Only the once.
Lies.
Just the once. And the door was open. Anyway, that's right. I did visit Kevin's house. In full spirit of Digital Digs Month, what I'm doing is volunteering to visit the homes of all the men we know and love on the Screensavers. So I'm crashing parties at Patrick's house, Leo's house, Yoshi's house. But today, let's kick things off with a look at my tour of Kevin and Dan's pad. I'm standing outside the underground lair of Kevin Rose and Dan Heward. Now, I say underground lair because they don't actually live in this house. They live in the garage. Let's take a look at their digital digs. Come on. Now, Kevin and Dan are a lot alike, but not really when it comes to the way that they keep their rooms. So, Kevin, what do you got going on here other than wallpaper of me?
These are my main two systems. I can switch between these with this Belkin switch right here.
Okay, so you guys are sharing resources. How's that work again?
Well, we use like simple file sharing to share all of our MP3s, documents, whatever you want to share. If you take a look, this is my D drive here, and you can see I'm sharing my MP3s, which is 25.6 gigs of MP3s that we share back and forth. Also, a shared folder that is actually where I give Dan rights to actually write things to my hard drive because I don't trust him around anywhere else.
No, he's not to be trusted.
And then I can also go into Dan's computer and browse through his little personal letters to Mom.
Let's do that. What is going on in here?
First thing I have is I have few PCs here. This is actually the central hub of our network. Yes, I'm the network administrator.
All right.
Yes. So basically how he gets his net access is we run, there's a couple cables going through, going all the way around, and you'll notice there's a few out here, there's a few cables out here, and this one goes to, I don't remember. Hey guys, you want a burger?
No thanks, I got my shake.
It's these two right here. No,
Dan, man.
it's just the blue.
Get it together.
I have a lot of other cool stuff here. I have a little scanner, a nice little flatbed scanner here with a picture of, oh, it's my poodle, Cherie.
That's a big computer for one guy.
That's not a computer. That's a printer, and this is a scanner.
That's a computer.
Okay, the yellow cable goes to my Xbox from my router. That's how I get the net access.
Okay.
This goes down, this goes to his switch. And his switch is how he gets his net access and spreads it out among his network appliances, so to speak.
So, Dan, I was just like, I could maybe clean this up for you, or?
No, I'll take care of that. That stays. So,
You can hook an Xbox to an Xbox through the back of it. Take a look here. There's a network cable coming right out of the back of the Xbox. Now, if you have a crossover cable, you can connect two Xboxes together. But rather than use a crossover cable, we want every single device in the house to be able to talk to the Xbox.
Okay.
So what we did is we ran it into the switch, so it's actually part of the network. And then underneath here, I go right into Dan's room and we're all connected.
first off, I have an old school Sega Dreamcast. And here I have my Sony PlayStation.
All right.
And then how most of the games that me and Kevin play are through the Xbox.
Yes! Who just got ruled? I just rocked you!
Probably the best thing about that, is my stereo system. I have a full Dolby Digital stereo system. This is the satellite speakers for this round set. We can also snake cords underneath, and it's a multi-room receiver. So that way, if I'm watching a movie, Kevin can listen to music from my receiver, which is great. That's so lame.
What is lame?
You.
So, Kevin, I have a question.
Okay.
Do flowered curtains help you think of dark tips? They look really nice in here.
Yeah, they do.
Kevin just told me he was thinking about making play clothes out of those curtains with a sewing machine.
Those are your mother's curtains. She gave them to me. I was putting them up to be nice.
All lies. Do not listen to him. He's the dark tipper. Anyway, check out the coolest outtakes ever. I mean cool. From my visit to Kevin and Dan's house, including a step-by-step how to cook a burger the Dan the Fluffin's way. Yes, he really actually did that. Dan, no.
High five?
Dan. There's no ketchup on that or anything. It's disgusting. Get out of here. I'm done. Back to you guys.
Screensavers.com. And don't go anywhere, because if you do, you'll miss a veritable barrage of XP enhancements from Sarah. And still to come, can you play a DVD from a different country in your own DVD player? Find out, but first, Jessica, well, she's got a tip.
Dan, you're funny. You're dirty, but you're funny. The ultimate home theater question always is 2-ply or 3, because 1 just is out of the question, right? No, just kidding. It should be, should you use optical cable or coaxial? There's no definitive answer. They're both sending a digital signal, so it really won't matter. However, optical is more delicate but can be run longer without signal degradation. Coaxial takes more abuse and can't run as far. More screensavers coming up. Burger.
Good to know the audience is still with us. It's amazing what you can do with stun guns in the commercial breaks. Welcome back to the Screensavers. I'm Patrick Norton. Coming up in this half hour, we have 5, no less than 5 must-have Windows XP downloads from Sarah.
Nice, and don't forget to register for this week's Screensavers LAN party powered by NVIDIA. The game is Castle Wolfenstein Enemy Territory. To aid in slaughtering Nazis, you can steal uniforms, build battlefield structures, gain special skills and abilities, and continue throughout the entire campaign, but you have to work as a team. So go to our website and click on Join Our LAN Party to register for all the links to download the game. And we'll see you this Thursday for the Screensavers LAN Party.
Woohoo! We received an email from Ian. Ian wrote in, he goes, I have a DVD from the UK. Will it play on my computer's DVD drive? That is a great question, Ian. We should point out, we got a stack of DVDs up here.
Yes, we do.
Let's talk about this. DVDs are locked into different regions, right? Now, what's the difference between the DVDs in my hand over here, the delightful Fooly Cooly CDs, or DVDs, and the ones you've got over there in your hand?
Well, these are ones you buy in the States, and those are Japanimation from Japan.
Exactly, and it's really hard to tell. You probably can't see that, but that tiny little logo back there, which when blown up will look something like that, or something completely different. It's going to be something that looks like a world or a globe with a number inside of it. I'm sorry about that. And if you look inside of there, you can't read it, right? Well, guess what? Putting your eye 4 inches away from it doesn't help much either. That tells you the region code logo, tells you what region it's for. Now, if we take a step back to the map here, the U.S. and Canada is essentially region 1. And this is where we learn exactly how bad my drawing skills, not my drawing skills, my numbering skills are. Region 2 includes the Europe and the UK,
right?
And that's Japan over there.
It's 2 as well.
And they basically segue them up, right? And the idea is what they did is when movies are released, first if they're from Hollywood, not from other countries, they come out first in the US, and then they eventually get to Europe and Japan, and then they go to the rest of the country. And the idea is what they did with DVDs is they don't want the DVD coming out in the US because it's going to come out in the US first, to play in any of the other countries in the world until they've released the movie there, because they want to make money off the movie in the theater, then they want to make movie off the DVD and the VHS. And
yeah, my buddy lives in Switzerland right now, and I was talking about Austin Powers to him. I said, you got to pick it up, and he said, it's not available yet.
And how long ago did that movie come out?
That was, almost a year ago or something
exactly.
like that.
So what happens, right, if you throw a DVD that doesn't play in your local area, if you throw it in like a desktop DVD or standard consumer electronics, you'll get something like this. If you see the code up there, it says invalid region. That means it won't play it. So what you need is a code-free or region-free DVD player. Now, you could spend a lot of money to get one. If you do a search on the web for like region-free or code-free DVD players, you'll get listings of probably a couple dozen places that sell different models that are set up so they're region-free. So no matter where a DVD comes, whether it's from Japan or from Europe or from somewhere else, or more likely if you're in Japan or in Europe or somewhere else and you want to play some stuff out of region 1, you can actually play it on that system. It should work. There are also cheat codes for your DVD players, which is, if you can find one for your DVD player, it's basically punching in a bunch of remote control buttons on there, kind of like cheat codes for games, and you punch in some random stuff. You'd never hit like, escape, menu angle, menu angle, menu angle,
something like that. That's not on all DVD players, though, just some.
No,
very few. Are the older ones or the newer ones have this?
Well, some of the older ones, some of the newer ones. It's interesting because basically a lot of the DVD manufacturers, say the DVD machine manufacturers, sat down and went, well, we can sell more of these if there's a way to get around these region codes. So they buried that inside the controls or sometimes using special remote controls. So it's an interesting idea. Of course, Hollywood came back and they did some enhanced region coding where if you don't have some region set on your system, it won't play on that particular DVD player.
So now you can change your region on the computer, though, right?
Yeah, so if you go in and do, there it is. We put the DVD in there. It's going to be interesting, and you got to be careful with this. It's a couple of seconds, it should come up with a DVD. And we should point out for a lot of if you can actually manually change your region on a standalone player, on a consumer electronics type player, if you change it to the region the DVD is set to, it shouldn't have a problem playing it. There we go. Let's actually cancel and
starting out there. There goes play.
That's really weird. This is really weird. See, Power DVD should have seen this and told us that it was a region 2. So I guess we actually reset it to region 2 by accident.
So it must have auto set it then to region 2.
Yeah, which is a little, you got to watch that because a lot of the consumer or a lot of the desktop, I'm going to say computer someday if I try to be, a lot of the computer ones will actually allow you to change the region code 4 or 5 times.
But after you do that, like the final time, it's locked in that region and then you can't change it out.
So don't use that. If you have 5 chances to play a different region, don't change back and forth on that because what you'll end up doing is locking yourself out. And if you lock yourself out on, say, Japan, you're never going to be able to play any American videos on there. So it's definitely something to look out for. There are some software, well, you know what, that's a dark tip, I think.
Well, I've done that. We've showed that on the show before. I actually did my Xbox hacking, had region-free DVD playing with a piece of software that was on there.
Yeah, and that one actually allows you to manually change regions.
Manually change it. Actually, yeah, exactly. So
yeah, so
you don't have to worry about it.
So if we look at this one's actually playing on here. What's kind of funny about that, though, is now you're going to have to change it back as soon as you put an American movie in there. Again, you only get to do that 5 times. If you keep doing that, you're going to run out. Do a search on the web, Ian. First of all, don't worry about putting the DVD in your system. It'll play or it won't play. If it's something like installing software, it should play absolutely no problem. If it's a movie, it may turn out that there's no region code on it, and it may play no problem. If there is region coding on it and it won't play on your system, do a little searching on the web, or do searching on if you have a consumer electronics player to see if you can reset the region code on that.
And you could also, if you really wanted to go the dark side of things, you could rip the DVD or back it up, if you will. And that will keep them from, actually, it'll take out that entire region coding on there, and then they can play it whenever they want. So
hint, hint, do a search on Tech TV and you'll find out a lot more about that. If you missed anything, well, we got a list of all the regions, we got links for different cheat codes for the consumer electronics players, and we'll have links to other articles up on the screensavers.com.
Cool, stay where you are. Up next, our next caller wants to get the best wireless standard out there. Plus, get ready, XP users. Sarah's going to give you some really cool downloads in her download flood. Stay right there when the Screensavers continues.
Let's check in with the fine folks over at Tech Live to see just what's coming up tonight. News anchor Michaela Pereira joins us from the Tech Live set.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
What's a girl got to do to get a burger around here?
Oh,
Dan!
I'm working on it. Hold on.
You know, you're going to have, what kind, medium rare,
I
well
like
done?
a cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. We need
You
a
know
medium
what?
cheeseburger, ketchup, mustard?
All of it. All of the above. Look, he's even getting it already. Dan's with a man.
I don't know if you want to eat one of his burgers, though. It's kind of scary.
He's just so
Yo, Dan,
cute.
medium sloppy to go, Michaela, Tech
Medium
Live,
sloppy
Studio
to
A.
go wild style.
How
Well,
about
sloppy means all the stuff
That's
on it.
right. You've
You
been to
didn't-
In-N-Out Burger. You know what we're talking about.
I
just
worked
got
in a
back
lot
from.
of
I just got
horrible
back
burger
from.
places.
What's that?
I worked in a lot of bad burger places.
Did you?
Yes.
You don't look like a. Yeah, I could see where.
I can flip pizzas with the best of them, Mick. How about telling
I
us up
tried
on...
so hard to like compliment you, and then I just
Just pull the rug out from under
pulling
me.
the rug. Hey, let's cut to the chase. How about that?
Okay.
And I kind of segued. Watch how I do this, all right?
Delicately and with great skill.
What does it take to create one of the most ambitious car chases ever filmed, you ask? Well, for one thing, you have to be willing to break a whole bunch of stuff, and that is exactly what they did on the set of the upcoming flick Bad Boys 2. You know that film with my boys Martin and Will? Well, this one scene that you're looking at took months of preparation. We're talking storyboards, computer animation, and of course, prepping those stunt drivers themselves who risked their life and limb to pull off some of these scenes. We are going to go behind the scenes of that shoot tonight on Tech Live, immediately following the Screensavers, and almost right on cue. What do I have? Come here, you. Come here. Look at this.
Here you go.
This, oh,
It's a little raw.
it's a little rare. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. Suddenly I become vegetarian. Yeah. You guys have a great show, okay?
Thanks, Michaela. That's what's coming up on Tech Live right after this show, assuming Michaela doesn't become ill from her burger tartare. Sarah, how about a download flood of the day?
It is the download flood because I've decided that you cannot survive with just one new download from me per week. You can't, I know it. So it's time for Sarah's download flood. Here are 5, count 'em, 5 power toys for Windows XP that I really can't live without. So I don't think you should either. Number 1, it is the Alt-Tab Improver. You know when you're Alt-tabbing in between programs to see what you've got open? Well, if you have like 5 instances of IE open, they all look the same. But this has this beautiful view of the pages. I love this. It's great. Now all my favorite sites are just more easily manageable. All right, let's move on now to number 2. It is the Command Window Generator. If we want to, let's go to my computer. Let's just open up C, and one of these file system folders. Let's right-click on Windows, open Command Window here. That's just really easy, isn't it? That's all it is, but it's just an easier way to get that little thing open. Number 3, I call it the Calculator of Strength and Speed. It's called the Power Tool Calculator, actually. And this is basically what you can play with when you're bored in your pre-calc class, which I always was. I was a math major at one time. We've got functions, basic operations, trig functions. Here's some samples, let you know what you have to, how you have to input stuff. We've got numeric calculator for the simple stuff. Advanced view, the sine, cosine, tangent stuff. Gotta love it. And then here in the conversions area, we can convert, temperature, Fahrenheit, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to have to get used to the metric system because I'm going to England soon. Moving right along, number 4 is the Easy Image Resizer. I've got this lovely picture of me here on Leo's roof when I was shooting his digital digs. Now if I just want to resize it, right-click, Resize Picture. Now I can do small, medium, large, something for a handheld PC, but if I click on the Advanced tab here, I can custom change it. And you say, well, you can do that in a lot of programs. Yeah, but sometimes you don't have the right thing open, blah, blah, blah. I don't always want to open Photoshop. I love it. It's great, especially if I want to post it on my blog or something I want it to be right size. Done. Number 5, webcam timer shot. Now this little dealy bob here is sort of just a way to have advanced options for your webcam. And you say, well, what kind of advanced options? Well, if you wanted to take a picture every 10 minutes, save it to a certain place every time. I have a really, really great example of how I'm going to use this. I am worried that I'm not sleeping well enough, so I'm going to take a webcam from my computer, run a long USB cable, mount the camera in my room, point it at my bed, and I'm going to take a picture of myself like every 10 minutes to see how much I move around. Because I'm convinced I'm moving around too much and I have sleep apnea and I'm killing myself slowly. And the timer shot is going to help me do this. So that is the end of my download flood. One of these is bound to make you happy, and if it doesn't, then nothing will. If you want to download any of these gems, all for XP, just visit my download of the day at thescreensavers.com, where I've also posted 2 additional XP downloads. But you'll just have to go there to get them. Boys, I'm spent. Very tired now.
Stick around, because after the break, Sean wants us to use the best possible wireless standard.
Nice.
But is there one? I don't know. We're going to find out later. But first, a Windows tip from Jessica.
Hey there, guys. To allow an auto login of a specific user in XP, you have 2 options. First, get Tweak UI. Too easy? Do this. From Run, type Control User Passwords 2. Uncheck users must enter a username and password to use this computer. More screensavers coming on up.
Call from Templeton, California. Sean is on the line.
What's up, Sean?
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, In-N-Out, best burgers. Anyway.
Yes. No.
Unless you're in the Midwest, in which case you got to go with the...
Dan likes McDonald's. He's a big McDonald's fan.
McDonald's over In-N-Out burgers?
My first job?
That's like an abomination.
Oh, his first job was that.
That was my first job. I was 16.
So
I am still
17. And the girl he dates is 18.
That's good.
Anyway,
sorry about that.
Yes, in recent ads, Best Buy, Circuit City, that type of thing, I've seen several different specials on wireless networking products, hardware. 802.11a, B, also
G?
54G, Best Buy has called it. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but which is, what are the pros and cons? That's what would be best.
Okay, let's take a step back. Basically, 802.11 started out as wireless networking. 802.11b was the first really good version of it because it was the equivalent of Ethernet. It was a maximum of 11 megabits per second, right? Which means, that's the theoretical maximum. Reality, it's like 4 to 5, maybe as high as 7 megabits per second, although that would be unusual network speed in your house. Great way to wirelessly share access to your notebook computers, to your systems in your house without running cables. Also a great way to share your internet access with the entire neighborhood or turn a really cool, secure wireless networking system in a company to actually, utterly gut it and make it open, because if you don't protect the 802.11b connection or a G or an A, because a lot of it's turned off when you first set it up, it's very, very insecure. 802.11g, you want to talk about that one? Do you want me to talk about that one?
802.11g is awesome because it gives us a lot more range than an 802.11b would. What's the range on G? Is it and speed? It's 54 megabits?
Yeah,
is that
the biggest thing about 802.11g is it's roughly 5 times as fast as 802.11b. So it's especially useful if you have a whole bunch of people sharing access or you transfer huge files inside your house. 802.11g, the range is pretty much the same. They tend to fluctuate a little bit, but
the cool thing
when
is
I've used it, it seems about the same as the B.
It's backwards compatible with B as well.
Right.
That's really cool.
Which is nice. Now, what happens though, if you mix B and G network cards on the same G hub, you can usually lower the speed of the entire network because 802.11b and 802.11g, the protocols work differently. So if you bring in, one 802.11b person walks in, it can slow down network access for everybody. 802.11a basically another wireless networking standard, but instead of being on the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, along with cell phones and your microwave and half of the wireless products in the universe, it's at the 5 gigahertz spectrum, which in theory means it shouldn't penetrate walls as well and you should have a lower range, but in our testing we found that it's got pretty good range. More importantly, I think because it's on 5 gigahertz, it's going to be a lot less populated. You're not going to have the portable phones, you're not going to have the wireless stuff, you're not going to have the microwave. And you know what? Like 802.11g, it's designed to be about 5 times as fast as 802.11b.
I see most people going for G right now, though.
Right.
That seems to be what everybody's buying because it's backwards compatible. And any particular brands that you recommend other than
Linksys probably sells more than anybody else. D-Link's pretty nice. I'm a big fan of the Linksys stuff.
I like Netgear.
If I was starting from scratch and if I was doing it in my house, I mean, I would get, if I had a notebook, I would get one of the triple cards that does 802.11a, b, and g for the notebook.
Or Noco makes an awesome card. It does the A, B, and the G.
Exactly. And we tested some that were really, really good. I would probably put 802.11a in my house if I was doing it all from scratch.
Really?
Yeah, I like it because there's so many people in my neighborhood that are using B and G. I'd like to be on another bandwidth. Does that help, Sean? All right. There we are, folks. Next up, we're going to delve into our inbox and see what's on your mind when the screensavers continue. Be sure to catch tomorrow's show. You know why? We're going to do a roundup of bargain notebooks and tell you which ones are good and which ones are bad. And we're going to tell you how to scan your system for security holes in Kevin's Dark Tip. And the President's Information Technology Advisory Committee co-chair, Mark Benehoff, is going to join us in the studio and tell us what's going on with computers in D.C. That's all coming up on tomorrow's show.
Jesse, got some emails for us?
You guys, we're all going to smell like cow when we walk out of here today.
Yeah.
And how is that different from any other day for most of the staff?
Great question. Okay, so first question comes from Cliff, 130. He says, how do upgrade from Windows 98 to Windows XL?
Oh, that's an easy one. There's no such thing as Windows XL, so you're not going to be able to upgrade.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Now, if you mean Windows XP, well, that's an entirely different question. Next.
We got to answer that one. Oh, here's the deal. If you're going to upgrade from 98, kill 98, delete it, repartition, start from scratch, put XP on there, you'll be good to go. It'll ask for the disk, the 98 disk. You put it back in, you can use the upgrade just fine.
Yeah, actually I was about to say that. Back up all of your information and your files and your programs.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, you're going to wipe out 23. Well, that's actually why you have all 23,000 MP3 files on a separate server. It's all coming together now. Do we have time for another question?
Okay, yeah. I have a Dell Inspiron 8000 laptop that I recently upgraded from ME to XP. I noticed that I only have 60 megahertz refresh rate now. Is there any way I can increase that?
Well, if you're talking about the 8000 notebook, it doesn't matter. All LCD panels, they all have the same refresh rate of 60 hertz. So you can't change it, so don't let it bother you.
You guys are on a roll. All right. Dear screensavers, I would like to know why you concentrate so much on mods and tips for the Xbox and not the PlayStation 2. Thank you. Love, Matt.
Great question. I'm actually going to be doing some PS2 mods coming up next month. I will actually be modding it, cracking it open.
Have you told Dan about this?
He actually volunteered his box to be modded.
Yeah.
So.
And that's pretty much, until Dan came along, none of us owned a PlayStation.
Another one?
Can you hack a George Foreman grill? That's just my personal question.
We can mod it. Yoshi can mod it.
Mod the grill?
George Foreman.
Yoshi's in.
2,000 watts.
Okay, any ideas on running a mail server for Windows for free or low cost? Any good open source programs?
It's a really bad idea to run it on your Windows home system because it's not secure, but we might answer that in a larger sense later. We got to scoot, folks.
Yeah, that's it for this edition of Screensavers. I'm Kevin Rose.
And I'm Patrick Norton. Thank you for joining us. We'd like to thank our guest, Craig Newark. And you know what? We want to tell all of you thank you and good night.
Good night.